Hello and welcome, we are Airpower22. I've just flown the DC6 and the Corsair, as you see on the right of me, and we're following the track to make an air show. I am now in the P38 Lightning, all in Red Bull livery. How cool is that? We are making our final checks before takeoff, and I think we're about ready to go. This is it, release the brakes. Of course, the P38 as well as the Corsair will get airborne way before the DC6. DC6 is airborne as well. We got to throttle up, catch her a bit. Of course, there's nicely tight on the right. And we're throttling up to get close to the DC6 to fly formation. As DC6 is up to speed now, all flaps and gears are up. We're going to make a gentle left-hand turn to get back to the start of the runway. Let's try to get it as close as possible. The Airpower22 Airshow consists of 2 days of a lot of flying. A lot of stunt teams came, like the F4u and the Patrouille de Suisse. MiG-15, MiG-21 came, Me-262 came, a lot of planes. But of course, the main attraction is the Flying Bulls, the DC6, Corsair, both Stearman, P38, and a lot of things like an excellent glider show. As you may have noticed, the airfield's dressed up like the air show in 2022 as it happened. This is a mod I found on FlightSim.2. It's pretty cool. I'll link it in the description. It has some audience, some static line. They got the audio speakers set up as they were, with all kinds of flags and stuff. It's pretty neat. They got the 2 pylons used at the Red Bull Air race, left and right of the runway. I should say at the start and end of the runway. It's pretty neat. You've also seen that both the DC6 and the P38 are in Red Bull livery. Someone did a quite good job there. I don't have it on the Corsair. There used to be a good one, but it's not on anymore. It's not working anymore. It just gives you a completely invisible plane. I hope they fix it and give you the new livery for the Corsair. It's pretty cool. I only recently acquired the Corsair and I just started flying it a couple of weeks ago because I felt I was missing it in my life. And I must say, they did a pretty good job of modeling that airplane. You gotta really work to get the engine going and learn the systems a bit before you take off in it. They modeled some weapons with it as well, but of course Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't allow bombs or bullet tracks, so you just have them and then you don't. We are now making a turn back towards the airfield, and we're going to try and make a slow pass in front of the audience. Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep formation like this as airspeeds and both altitude and there we go. Both altitude and your directions change. I lost it there a bit. I need to find that plane and get back into formation. Hold on. There she is. Get back, get the power on, fly back to her. Yeah, you try to fly as smooth as possible with the first plane, and then every track you add on to it, try to like keep the formation. Of course, I knew how I flew it, but exactly where and how is probably better if you test it a couple of times and not just start recording right away. But hey, it's all good fun. We're getting back to her anyway. The actual flying boat Corsair was made in 1945 for the US Navy, and it hadn't seen action in World War II. And after a couple of years in the Navy, it was sold to Honduras, where it served for quite some time, I think. After that, some wealthy Texan bought it, and finally it became one of the first Red Bull planes for the Flying Bulls. Although it's a very powerful plane with its radial engine that produces 2,400 horsepower. It's capable of doing 750 kilometers an hour. It's pretty fast. But with these old warbirds, they say they don't use all the power in the air shows because they want to conserve the airframe, which is very good because like future generations do really want to see these birds fly and not just a static display. Right, we're getting close to the airfield now. Really get slow on the speed, full on the flaps, trying to make that slow pass as slow as possible, and the formation as tight as possible, which is hard flying on the edge of what is possible. Let's not touch the ground here. Like you see the pylon coming up. This is the start of the runway. The hangars are on the left, and the crowd put at the air shows on the left as well, which is where I placed one of the cameras. That was the airfield. Slowly we're throttling up, getting the flaps back up and get back up to speed. so we can make the next set of maneuvers. The Red Bull's P38 Lightning was previously a race plane after the war, and it was called Silver Lightning. It's in reality it's a white cockpit instead of black, so the model is not perfect to say, but it's just the outside skin that looks like the Red Bulls. The inside's just normal for Microsoft Flight Sim. The race plane had crashed, so Red Bull could buy it relatively cheap. There are not a whole lot of these planes flying. The most famous one is the Glacier Girl, of course. It's been under the ice for a long time and completely repaired and built up and flying again. I think there's about 6 or 7 of these in the world. At the start of the war, this was probably one of the best intercept fighters available, especially for the Allies. Could get very quick to high altitude with his 2 engines, had a good climb rate. It was pretty fast, maybe certainly in the beginning of the war it was the fastest plane. Not as maneuverable as the German fighters were, but it could held his own. Though it probably did best in the Pacific theaters. All the American aces are from Pacific theater, well, I don't know, top 5 or something, and they're all P38 pilots. If the war were lasted any longer, Corsair might have been a contender for it, because they were just starting up to show up in the Pacific theater in bigger and bigger numbers, and starting to shoot down a lot of Japanese planes there. In the European theater, the P38 mostly flew the bomber escort missions, which were high level, and as their heaters weren't working as good as they could, the pilots were having a hard time trying to do their missions as good as possible. Bomber boys were definitely happy to see increased range as opposed to Spitfires and P47s, until the P51s came in with even better range and better maneuvering, better high altitude handling. Right, we're coming in for the airfield for a high speed pass right now. That gives his own troubles keeping the formation, but it's all good fun. As we are breaking left out of the formation, the DC6 and Corsair continue, turning to the right and leveling out on a heading with the runway as well. At this moment, the DC6 will break left as well, go through the valley on the other side of the mountains, and come back on a 90-degree heading towards the runway. The Red Bull's DC6B is a 1958 example of a pretty luxury prop liner for the time. It was fitted with 4 of these massive 2,400 horsepower engines, and it could go pretty fast for a flying beast at the time. About 550 kilometers max speed, whereas the cruising speed is 460 kilometers an hour. Now, I believe the Red Bull team found this DC6 somewhere in Africa, where it had special life, changing hands a couple of times and doing crazy missions. And they flew it all the way from Africa to Salzburg and started a very, very big overhaul. Well, in hindsight, it was a much bigger overhaul than they thought it would be at first. But as it goes, when you start loosening components, you find more and more stuff that needs more and more attention. And it ended up taking a couple of years and a lot of people working non-stop on the project. And it is pretty cool to see one of these massive prop liners from the early 50s flying around still and in that good a condition that you can actually fly air shows with it. And that's what flying bulls do, so that's very cool. I'm very thankful to have seen that. Now I've just seen that DC6 coming over the hill, and I'm taking a dive towards it so we can match it up and make a looping and have the DC6 fly through it. Let's check that out. Off track here. Also, as you see, the Corsair is just slightly late and coming in for the meetup with the P38 and the DC6. There's some practice that could be done better, I guess. Just a 2-second delay. It's fine. First time airshow pilot. Having fun. Now both P38 and Corsair are making their turns to join up again with the DC6. Of course, the massive amount of power from these engines really do help getting it back towards the mothership, so to speak. Program I'm using to make these different flights, because I first recorded this flying just the DC6, then flew it all again with the Corsair. There she comes. And after that flew it with the P38, which you see now. I have no cockpit footage from DC6 or Corsair this time, but first time for everything, so might do that sometime in the future, I don't know. And the program I'm using for this is called Join FS 2020. It's a free download. It has multiple functions. I'm not sure how they work, but apparently you could use it to multi-crew a plane. So, and apparently even multi-platform. So if you got Microsoft Flight Sim and your buddy's got X-Flight, maybe prepared, I don't know. It might work. That's pretty cool. It works together with VATSIM as well. But for this, I just used the recorded version. It's really easy enough to set up. You hit record and then you go over that. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed flying with me. I really enjoyed doing this. It's a nice little project. And right now we're gonna set up for a free ship landing, which means throttling it back down, getting the flaps out, getting the gear out and slowing down while trying to keep formation. That's pretty cool, cool sight. I know this isn't the best of landings and it's pretty early on the runway, but it'll do. Call it a military landing. Alright, I think the DC6 is down. There we go. There as well. Nicely tight information. How do you like that? That's beautiful. As the DC6 is slowly turning onto the taxiway, I yield to the Corsair and let's open the windows, get some air in. Got hot in here. On the P38 you need to close the windows because otherwise the air gets disturbed over that back elevator. And it gives you a real bumpy ride. Onto the taxiway we go. And it's time to wave at all the crowd looking at these magnificent planes. Hello, hi. You see the Corsair has got a very big nose, so it has to like zigzag over the taxiway to keep straight. See nothing's ahead of him. P38 has got a tricycle landing gear, so you're looking straight over the nose. You got perfect view, just as the DC6. The window on the Corsair keeps open, the canopy I should say. And the prop blur on P38 is not really what you'd expect, but it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Well, I had great fun showing you guys this, and I hope you liked it as well. Give me a like, maybe subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye!